I've been driving for over 30 years, and last week I found out my own car has been hiding things from me the entire time. Things that were built in on purpose, sitting right there in plain sight the whole time I owned it. Here's the part that really gets me. After years of working around cars and talking to drivers who've owned the same vehicle for 10, 15, 20 years, I keep seeing the exact same thing over and over. Good drivers, careful drivers, people who take care of their cars, who change the oil on schedule, who know their vehicle inside and out. And almost every single one of them is missing features that have been sitting there since the day they drove off the lot. Some of these are small conveniences. Some of them, if you don't know about them, can turn into repair bills of $1,500 to $2,000 for something that was completely avoidable if someone had just shown you where to look or what button to press. So, today we're going through 9 of these real features built into your car on purpose by the people who designed it. And most owners never find a single one.
And stick around until the very end, because the last one is a button that's been sitting on your dashboard this whole time. One press, and it can quietly save you hundreds of dollars a year without changing a single thing about how you drive. Let's start with the first one, and this one's been frustrating you for years, probably without you even realizing there's a fix. Number 9. Your power window. Maybe it's been doing this for a while now. It stops halfway up, and you have to press the button again to get it the rest of the way. Or the auto up feature, the one where you tap the button once and the window goes all the way up by itself, just stopped working one day. Most drivers assume that's it. Motor's going bad, time for a repair. Here's what almost nobody knows. Your power window has a kind of memory built into it. It remembers exactly how far up and down it's supposed to travel. And sometimes, especially after the battery gets disconnected or a fuse blows, that memory gets wiped. The motor still works fine, it just forgot its own limits. Here's the fix, and it takes about 30 seconds. Roll the window all the way down. Once it hits the bottom, keep holding the button for 3 more full seconds. Then roll it all the way back up, and once it hits the top, hold the button again for 3 more seconds. That's it. The window just relearned its entire range, top to bottom. Dealerships will charge you a diagnostic fee for this exact reset because most people assume it means a broken motor or bad wiring. It doesn't. Now, the next one is something every driver eventually runs into, usually somewhere they really don't want to be. Number 8 on our list. That little round cap on your front bumper. You've probably looked right at it 100 times. Maybe you thought it was a sensor. Maybe you figured it was just there to fill a hole in the plastic. Most drivers never give it a second thought. Here's what it actually is. Pop that cover off, and underneath you'll find a threaded metal opening built directly into your car's frame. Not the bumper, the frame. That's where a tow hook screws in solid and secure. Think about it this way. If you ever slide into a ditch on an icy morning, or get stuck in your own driveway after a heavy snowfall, that's the spot a tow strap is supposed to connect to. Without it, people try hooking onto the bumper itself or some piece of trim, and that's how bumpers get ripped clean off. A bumper replacement on most vehicles runs $1,500 or more. That little cap and the threaded hole behind it is the difference between a 5-minute tow and a 5-figure repair bill. Now, the next one is something almost every driver has done 1,000 times, and it's been quietly messing with how your car actually drives. Number 7, your throttle response. Maybe you've noticed it. You press the gas, and there's this little hesitation before the car actually responds. Or the acceleration feels jerky, almost like the car is thinking about it first. A lot of drivers just assume that's their car getting older. It's not. Here's what most mechanics will never bring up, because it costs them money to fix it for you. You can reset your throttle's calibration yourself in your own driveway in under 2 minutes with 0 tools. Here's how it works. Turn your car to the accessory position. That's 1 click of the key or 1 press of the start button without touching the brake at all. Now, press the gas pedal all the way down to the floor and hold it there.
count to 10. Then, let go, turn the car completely off, and wait 30 seconds. Start it up like normal. That's it. Your throttle just relearned its full range from idle to floor. The hesitation, the jerkiness, that sluggish feeling, gone. Mechanics charge $50 to $150 to do this exact same reset with a diagnostic computer. You just did it for free sitting in your driveway. And speaking of being stuck in a driveway, the next one could save you from a moment of pure panic. Number 6. Your key fob just died. Completely. You're sitting in the driver's seat, pressing that start button over and over, and nothing happens. Not a sound, no dashboard lights. In that moment, most drivers assume the worst. Dead battery in the car, a tow truck the whole afternoon, gone. Here's what almost nobody knows. In that exact moment, your car can still start even with a fob that has 0 battery power left. Inside that fob, there's a small chip that doesn't need any battery at all to work. It just needs to be close enough for your car to read it. On most modern vehicles, there's a hidden reading spot, usually right on or near the start button itself, sometimes tucked into the cup holder area. Take your dead fob, hold it directly against that spot, and press the start button like normal. The car reads the chip at close range, and the engine turns over. No battery needed. Here's the part that should bother you a little. This is buried in a single paragraph deep inside your owner's manual. Most people never read that far. Manufacturers would rather you panic call for a tow or book a dealer visit. Now, the next one is something most people walk past every single day and never think to look underneath. I had a guy tell me once he'd owned his truck for almost 15 years, never replaced a tire, never had a tow. He said the trick was simple. He just never assumed he knew everything about the car, even after all those years. He kept finding little things here and there that he'd missed the first time around. Honestly, that stuck with me. Let's get back to it. Number 5. And this one's been under your feet, or under your groceries, the entire time you've owned this car. You open your trunk and you see the carpet panel, the spare tire, maybe the tire inflation kit. That's it, right? That's all the space you've got. Most owners think that for years, sometimes for the entire time they own the car. Here's what's actually down there. Lift out that spare tire or the foam tray underneath it, and there's another layer underneath, a second compartment built right into the structure of the car itself. It's not an accident. Engineers designed these spaces on purpose because otherwise that space would just be wasted, empty air inside the car's frame. That second layer is the perfect spot for things you want in the car but don't want digging through your trunk to find. A set of jumper cables, a first aid kit, important documents, even some cash tucked away. And here's the kicker. If someone ever breaks into your car, they go straight for what's visible. Bags, electronics sitting in the trunk. Almost nobody thinks to lift the floor panel. That hidden layer is one of the most secure spots in your entire vehicle. Coming up next, a feature on your back window that's been doing 2 jobs at once, and most people only know about one of them. Number 4. Those thin horizontal lines running across your back window. You know exactly what those are for. Press the defrost button, those lines heat up, and the ice or fog on your rear window clears off. Simple enough. Most drivers stop right there. But that grid is actually doing a second job at the same time, one that has nothing to do with temperature at all. That same grid of lines is also your car's antenna for satellite radio. The metal lines that heat the glass are also picking up the signal that brings you that radio station. Now, here's where it gets costly. Every time someone scrapes ice off the inside of that window with a hard plastic scraper, or wipes it down hard with a rough cloth, they're not just cleaning glass, they're scratching through thin metal lines embedded in that glass and physically breaking the antenna. You won't notice right away, but over time, your satellite radio starts cutting out. Stations drop. You get static that gets worse and worse. One broken line in that grid can kill an entire frequency band completely. and a full rear window replacement because of damage that was completely avoidable, $300 to $800, depending on your car. So, soft cloth warm water, never a scraper on that inside glass. That's it. Next up, a feature hiding in your key fob that car companies would honestly prefer you never found out about. Number 3. And this one is going to make you a little annoyed, in a good way. Car companies want you to believe that starting your car remotely and having it heat up or cool down before you even walk outside requires a phone app and a monthly subscription. Some of these subscriptions run $15 to $25 a month. That's real money every single month just to start your own car. Here's what they don't widely tell you. On a lot of modern vehicles, your basic key fob, the one you already have, the one that came free with the car, can do this already. No app, no subscription, no monthly charge, ever. Here's generally how it works. Press the lock button on your fob once. Then press and hold the remote start button, usually marked with a circular arrow symbol or the letters RS. Hold it for a few seconds. Your engine starts and your climate system kicks in automatically, set to whatever temperature you left it on. Think about why these subscriptions exist. They're recurring revenue billions of dollars a year industry-wide. And the entire time, the hardware to do this for free has been sitting in your pocket. Now, the next one isn't about saving money. It's about something your car has been quietly trying to warn you about. And most drivers tune it out completely. Number 2. Picture this. It's a cold morning. The sky is clear. The road looks dry. Everything looks completely normal from inside your warm car. You have no idea that the bridge up ahead is glazed in black ice. Here's what most drivers tune out completely. Your car has already been trying to warn you. When the outside temperature drops to around 37 degrees Fahrenheit, a little snowflake or ice crystal icon lights up on your dashboard, usually with a chime. And here's the part most people get wrong. That warning isn't set at freezing 32 degrees. It's set 5 degrees higher at 37. Why? Because road surfaces, especially bridges, overpasses, and shaded spots, lose heat faster than the air around them. They can freeze solid while your dashboard still says it's above freezing outside. Most drivers glance at that snowflake and just keep driving exactly the way they were. But that icon is your car telling you something specific. Slow down, leave more space between you and the car ahead, and treat any shaded or elevated section of road like it could be ice, even if it looks completely dry. Bridges and overpasses freeze first because they lose heat from above and below at the same time. Now, last one, and this one's been sitting on your dashboard the whole time. Number 1, that Eco button on your dashboard or center console. Most people have one of two relationships with this button. Either they've never pressed it once in the entire time they've owned the car, or they pressed it once, felt the car get a little slower, and switched it right back off, assuming it just made the car worse. Here's what's actually happening when you press it. Eco mode does 3 things at the same time. It adjusts your transmission so it shifts earlier and keeps your engine running at lower speeds. It reduces how hard your air conditioning compressor works, which takes some load off the engine. And it softens how the car responds when you press the gas, so you're not wasting fuel on sudden bursts of acceleration you didn't really need. None of that is a malfunction. That's the car working smarter. Here's the number that matters. Driving in Eco mode consistently can improve your fuel economy by roughly 5 to 15%, depending on your car and how you drive. At current gas prices, for someone doing a normal daily commute, that adds up to hundreds of dollars over the course of a year without changing your route, your schedule, or anything else about how you drive. Now, Eco mode isn't built for highway passing or merging hard onto a freeway. For that, you'd want full power. But for city driving, stop-and-go traffic, the daily commute, it's one of the most effective fuel-saving tools sitting in your car. Most people never touch it on purpose. Think about it this way. Over a full year of normal driving, that one button can quietly save you the equivalent of several full tanks of gas. Not from changing your habits, not from driving differently, just from leaving one switch in a different position.
I've been driving the same truck for years now, putting on serious mileage. And one of the simplest things that's kept fuel costs down trip after trip is something this basic. One button. Left on for daily driving without a second thought. It's been sitting right there since the day you drove the car off the lot. So, out of all 9, how many of these were you already doing? Drop a comment and let us know. I read every single one. If even one of these saves you a trip to the mechanic or a few dollars at the pump, that's exactly what Core Car is for. But before you go, there's one more thing most drivers get completely wrong about their tires, and it's costing them money every single time they fill up. Core Car's next video covers that. It's right here. Don't miss it.